Hari Om and welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis to today's AVSC Satsang. Let us continue our contemplation on Advaita Makaranda. Prabhuji has given talks based on this, and right now we are on Day-1 talk. And we have framed several questions based on the Day-1 talk. And right now we have completed contemplation till question number 5. In our last session, we looked at the difference between having and knowing. And we also looked at that Pushpaka Vimana scene and how it is applicable to our day-to-day life, what we can learn. Today, let us focus on the next question. So this entire composition that we just now heard is by Lakshmi Dhara Kavi. So the general understanding we have about a Kavi is a poet, someone who writes poems. So what does Kavi really mean? And how is a Kavi's poem is being considered as a scripture for our Vedantic learning? So that is the question that we can, to begin with, look at. Hari Om Padmajaji. Am I audible, Padmajaji?
Hari Om, Vijay.
Hari Om, yeah. Yeah, so we'll continue with the question number 6. What does Kavi mean according to you? And how come we are contemplating on a composition by a Kavi? Who would like to begin? Anyone wants to volunteer? Deepaji, would you like to begin?
Sir, I have not gone through, sir. Kavi, I know, what I know is just a poet.
Okay. What does a poet mean to you, Deepaji?
Poet is someone who will be able to express what he feels uh, in a poetic language where they use the rhymes um, and it will be good to read the poems, hear the poems, and the language used will be such that it may not mean the way it actually is trying to. I mean, actually, it doesn't mean what it is written. I mean, the language that they use, it may have a different meaning in it, different internal meaning in it.
Okay. Do you want to offer some examples? Do you have any examples in your mind?
Examples. No such examples.
Okay, wonderful. So this is what a Kavi means to you.
Yeah.
And how do you think a poem, because a Kavi composes a poem, and Advaita Makaranda is said to have been composed by Lakshmi Dhara Kavi. Usually, we listen or contemplate on compositions by rishis, jnanis, but here, we seem to have picked up a poem. What is your viewpoint on that question?
Here the scripture is written in the form of a poem.
So you feel that whatever we are contemplating, Advaita Makaranda itself is a scripture.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add, Deepaji?
No, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Kamalaji, would you like to share your viewpoint?
Yes, Vijayji. So, like Deepaji said, Kavi, a person can express in a form of a poem only when he understands and experiences it. So, here Kavi means he has all understood the nectar, right? So, he wants to express in a simple way so that everybody can understand and follow it. So here, so that's what a kavi means, is what I understand. He has already experienced it, and he, through simple words, he is making others also to understand and enjoy. Yeah.
Okay. Just for the sake of discussion and contrast, does a kavi really have all the time experience of what he or she is expressing?
I am not sure, Vijayji, all the time if we will have or not. That I cannot, because Jnani, all the time he is he will he is a jnani. So a kavi maybe for temporary time, or he can come back to a normal thing, and yeah, I don't think he can be always like a jnani, because
Okay.
jnani will be a sthita prajna all the time, but a kavi need not be.
Kavi need not be. Would you consider Vedavyasa Maharshi as a kavi or not?
A jnani can be a kavi and jnani also. Because correct, because all the jnanis need not write something, or they may experience the non-duality self always, but all the jnanis has not given any scriptures to us. So jnanis can be a kavi also. So Vedavyasa is a jnani and a kavi, we can say, but all the kavis are not jnanis.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. So we seem to be misusing the word kavi, or we are not adding a proper distinction.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything more you would like to add, Kamalaji?
No, Vijayji. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om ji. Padmajaji, you have any viewpoint?
No, Vijayji.
All right. Anupamaji, is there anything from your viewpoint?
No, Jaji.
Okay. Saravananji?
Yeah, Vijay. So, Kavi is like there are two aspects. I see, like one, someone like very good at words, um, who's like the language, right? Who's able to express uh, the the subject of the poem um, in a very nice way, and easy way for the listeners to grasp and remember. Right. So, for example, the the regular poems which um, be it in school books, um, or like the entertainment, right? Um, the it is the poets are giving it, right, which basically attracts the listeners, right? Majorly by the use of words, the play of words. That is the medium. While they are delivering a subject through that medium, because they are able to use the language, the words in a very nice way. Basically, they are professionals in their expertise in using the language. They are more effective in being able to deliver that subject, what they want to deliver, right? Otherwise, it is like a good message, but if I cannot deliver it in the best possible way, it will get lost. I may not be able to connect with the audience, right? And the other way, there can be like no message, but I can try to deliver in a very catchy way as well. But the combination of good message and the best delivery, right? That's that's the uh, those are the ones who are remembered for, who live forever uh, by their names. They may not be living physically, but like if you see, though he's written it, he's still living, because people are able to remember him for what he delivered through his expertise, right? In this case, it happens to be that the most difficult subject, he has delivered it as a poem, right? It's not easy. It's not easy to deliver a subject like Vedanta through a poem, right? So that way, he has to be very special to be able to deliver, right? And what he has delivered is, as we see Makaranda, it's like all the Upanishads, what the message they are giving, he has collected them and delivered in as a poem. So that's the speciality.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarvanji.
Thank you.
So yeah, the word kavi, in terms of its meaning, Sanskrit word kavi means someone who is seeing, a seer. So someone who's seeing, when also they have the ability to express what they're seeing in a manner. See, there are different ways in which people and many beings they express. Some are very good at expressing through body, a dance form.
That's
Some are very good at expressing through, say, drawings, a art form. So, like that, different expressions of existence can be there. And a kavi, like how many of you said, is able to see something and also is able to express that by combining words in a given language. And that's what makes you and I get connected to that reality that that particular choice of sentences or phrases are pointing at. Because the words are essentially pointers. It is not the word itself, it is what the word is pointing to. And when the words come together in groups, you and I have a very natural inclination towards something that is poetic. So, poetry, what is the basic essence of poetry? So, one of the essential element of poetry is its rhythmic nature. Rhythmic. So, what is rhythmic? There seems to be some kind of a beat. There seems to be some kind of a movement which we are able to feel. And that rhythmic nature is in a way, the very essential nature of how life functions. When you look at life, life has these rhythms, right? Whether you take big rhythms such as seasons, movement of the earth, or all the celestial objects, or if you just uh, focus on only your body is full of lot of rhythmic movements. the heartbeat, the blood flow, the breath pattern. So many aspects. Everything in the existence seems to be operating to a rhythm. Even your inventions, your computer itself actually works to a rhythm. Internally, at the most fundamental level, there is something called as a CPU clock, which keeps generating timing cycles, and the CPU operates according to that CPU, that clock cycle. So there's a rhythm. So rhythm is inbuilt into existence. And in fact, the word rishi comes from the one who has that ridambara pragna. This pragna, who has got imbibed, or who is nothing but that ridambara pragna, rhythm. Rhythm means there is this natural beat, natural movement, natural symphony, which seems to be a repetitive symphony in existence. So Kavi is able to feel that rhythm and is able to express that rhythm in a very rhythmic manner, which is what you and I call as a poem. So that is one of the aspect of a poem. And it is not just a mere play of the words. It is not simply, if you, there are a lot of these simple, silly poems, we call it as, right? So the silly poems are there for simply entertainment purpose. It's a very nice way by which, you play with words and, you derive meanings. All that, you and I can enjoy. But here, in this particular context, Kavi means someone who is able to see, perceive a deeper truth of life, of existence, and is able to express that in a poetic manner. And as we already know, poem has many characteristics. Rhythm is one of its characteristic. Then nature of the words, and how together they have to be easier to say create that rhythm. For example, you heard just now the entire Advaita Makaranda. So there is a song-like manner, or there is a rhythm-like manner in which this entire thing could be uttered, right? So which means they are adhering to certain chandas. So like that, there are very many different lakshanas of any poem. But why poem is important is the most important question. If you notice in our scriptures, there are scriptures which are question and answer direct. There are many scriptures which are in this poetic manner, starting with the most popular, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a song. It is said to be the song of the Lord. It is a poem. And Shankaracharya ji has given us so many gems. Nirvana Shatkam, Brahmagnanavali Mala. So like that, there are so many gems, which are all very deeply poetic in terms of language structure. But why is that scriptures, a lot of these scriptures are composed in poetic manner? What is the connection between poetry and you? So just like how, yes, Sarunji, you have something to say?
We enjoy singing.
So that's the very first thing.
Yeah.
It's very joyful. The structure of a poem is very joyful. Um, Even though it's been many many years ago, there is a poem on Yugadi that many of you who may have studied in Kannada medium may remember. Yuga Yugadi Kaledaru, Vasa Yugadi Barutide, Vasa Harushake, Vasa Harushake. It's about Yugadi, which we just now celebrated, right? So there is a deep connection between this nature of this language, which is poetic, to how it gets imbibed in you. It gets easily integrated in you. If let's say you are asked, okay, remember something from your fourth grade in say history textbook, you will probably struggle a lot to exactly remember that whatever that particular paragraph is. But if I ask you, can you recall a fourth grade poem, maybe on the food, maybe on whatever, so many topics. Each one of you, I'm pretty sure, you will be able to recall something. So just as a simple question, I don't understand Malayalam well, but can Anupamaji or Kamalaji tell anything from the childhood that you remember or recall? Any Malayalam poetry that you recall, you are able to recall?
No. Can I say, Vijayji?
Yes, Ji, please.
It is about teaching colors to child through nature. നീലാകാശ പീലികൾ വിരിയും പച്ചത്തെങ്ങോല തെളിഞ്ഞ മഞ്ഞ പൂവിരിയാഹെ ചുവന്ന റോസാപ്പൂ തവിട്ട് പശുവിൻ വെളുത്ത പാല് കുടിച്ചതിൻ പിന്നെ കറുത്ത രാത്രിയിൽ ഈ നിറമെല്ലാം ഓർത്തു കിടന്നു ഞാൻ.
Very nice. Can you please say what it meant?
For a child, the mother is teaching the colors. She's showing the sky and say the sky is blue, Neelakasham, and peeligal. When the sun comes in the sky, you can see the leaves are, they are waking up and the leaves are green.
Wow.
Then, when you see the flower, it is yellow. That color is yellow. The flower which is blooming, that is yellow. And you see that there is other flower called rose, which we have many, that is actually red in color. This flower is yellow and that flower is red. Then come, let us go and milk our cow. You see the cow, this cow is brown, tavittu pashu, and the cow which gives milk, and look at the milk, that is white. And when you go to sleep in the night, you see the sky, that is black. When you see the sky, you remember what are all the colors you have seen right from the morning. This is how the entire thing surrounding us is so colorful.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Ji. Kamalaji, you also wanted to share one poem.
No, I don't remember. This I remember, but nothing else.
Padmajaji, you have something to share?
Yeah. Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yes, Ji. Yes, Ji.
Yeah, I have a poem which was written, in Hindi. I don't know how many of you understand that.
Please go ahead. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you don't have to know Malayalam to enjoy what Anupamaji just now.
Yeah. So this poem was called as Pushpaki Abhilasha. That was in my school days. It just touches this one, which is written by Mahadevi Varma. It says, चाह नहीं मैं सुरबाला के गहनों में गूंधा जाऊं, चाह नहीं प्रेमी माला में बिन प्यारी को ललचाऊं, चाह नहीं सम्राटों के शव पर ए हरि डाला जाऊं, चाह नहीं देवों के सिर पर चढ़ भाग्य पर इटलाऊं, मुझे तोड़ लेना वनमाली उस पथ पर देना फेंक, जिस पथ पर जाए वीर अनेक. Here a flower, pushpa is flower, abhilasha is its wish. What is the wish of a flower? It says ki I don't want to be put it in the lady's hairs. As I don't want to be on on the dead bodies of on the bodies they put it over there. I don't want to be on the king's dead body. I don't even want to be on the garland for the gods. What does that flower want is, you put me on the path of the soldiers who lay down their lives for us, for the people. Just put me there. I want, that is my wish. In another way indicating that we all should live for our country. A beautiful one that I loved it. Still now I remember.
Very nice, Ji. Excellent.
Thank you.
So beautiful. You have something from Tamil, Sarvananji?
I was just thinking, but simple small song like
Sure.
தோசை அம்மா தோசை அம்மா சுட்ட தோசை அரிசி மாவும் உளுந்து மாவும் கலந்து சுட்ட தோசை தென் நம்பர்ஸ் அப்பாவுக்கு 4 அம்மாவுக்கு 3 அண்ணனுக்கு 2 பாப்பாவுக்கு 1 திங்க திங்க ஆசை இன்னும் கேட்டால் பூசை ஸ்வீட். Very rhyming and introduce the numbers and family.
Can you tell what exactly you said?
So it's about dosai, which mom makes it with rice and dal, right? And like 4 for dad, 3 for mom, 2 for brother, 1 for you. Okay, and like it's yummy, but if you ask more, you'll get beating.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Deepaji, is there something that you would also like to share?
Yes, sir. I've sent one poem in the group.
Yeah. Why don't you read it out?
It's Mr. Nobody.
Okay.
I know a funny little man, as quiet as a mouse, who does the mischief that is done in everybody's house. Thus no one ever sees his face, and yet we all agree that every plate we break was cracked by Mr. Nobody. This is who always tears out books, who leaves the door ajar. He pulls the buttons from our shirts and scatters pins afar. That squeaking door will always squeak. Priti, don't you see? We leave the oiling to be done by Mr. Nobody. The finger marks upon the door by none of us are made. We never leave the blinds unclosed to let the curtains fade. The ink we spill, the boots that lying round you see, are not our boots. They all belong to Mr. Nobody. This is a poem of grade 3, sir.
Very nice.
Here, it's like uh, actually, when I read the poem, everyone was wondering who it was. They were not able to guess, and finally, I told them it is nothing but you who do all such things at home.
Very nice. Excellent. Thank you very much. Manasaji, you have something to share? Are you there, Manasaji? Okay. So maybe internet issues. All right. So you now heard a Malayalam, a Hindi, a English, a Tamil. So the languages are different, but all of us were able to enjoy it. And that too, you all must have heard it when you were very little. It's been many, many years. But you are able to kind of recall it, as we say, right? By the heart, from the heart. So there's a certain feeling that a poem leaves in you. And you're able to get deeply connected to that feeling. And the moment that feeling comes, those words naturally flow out. So what it indicates that poem is not merely an entertainment instrument. If you want to deliver something to go deep into, so to say, your bloodstream, something should get digested so deeply in you that you're able to simply recall, is the beauty of poem, the poetry. So look at how our great masters have noticed how human mind works and how to blend with the human mind and in a very harmonizing way to bring the relevant existential truths. If you take our shlokas, if you take our stutis, many great scriptures are all in the poetic manner. Lalita Sahasranama, each one, when you are simply chanting, you don't necessarily have to be a language expert. When you're simply chanting, and if you are silent enough, meaning what? In your mind, not necessarily doing a lot of thinking and looking to, oh, I don't understand. Many a times we get caught up in that thinking. Oh, I don't understand this language. Oh, I don't know this words. No, you don't have to. Simply be with the beauty of the sounds, the rhythm of that movement. Something deep within you gets connected with it. That's the beauty of a true poem. And true poems cannot be composed by a human mind, because a human mind wants to please, wants to make sure it gets the whatever, let's say, the applaud. So a true poem cannot be by a human mind. That is why when you notice many of these great scriptures, there is no personal stamping of I, some person created this. It's in a very impersonal manner. Nobody knows who is that great seer. And many a times when you do see a name, many a times they are not necessarily their so-called social names. During their times, they may have been known by some other name. But there is a deeper significance with which even the names are chosen. So, like that, a poem is not a mere entertainment. And in this context where we are studying Advaita Makaranda, like you already said, what is Makaranda? Is nothing but that honey. How did honey come from? From where did it come? From hundreds and thousands of different plants. But when you're enjoying that honey, you don't think, oh, this is from rose, this is from lily, this is from, you don't have all such distinction, because all of them have this honey. And it's the bee which has collected and brought it and given to you and me. I mean, not necessarily it was meant to be for you and me, the honey. But anyway, uh, you and I have realized, that there is something to enjoy there also. So like that, you and I are able to enjoy, because you and I don't have to have the hard work of going and collecting it. So that's the beauty of this particular scripture. So poetic, so simple, straightforward illustration of the truth, and done in a exquisite manner that it is so pleasing as you are hearing. And I'm sure the ones who have better musical understanding will also be able to compose this in many different ways. So that's the beauty of poetry. So therefore, in the Indian uh, way of learning, especially the existential truths, poetry has a greater relevance. Yeah, so
Every,
much more.
every king had a poet, right?
Yes, yes. And I also noticed, the other day I was reading something from, there is this Russian great master, Gurdjieff, and he has written one book. It's kind of like a tales. Through the tales, he has brought out several uh, deeper existential truths.
Mhm.
But I noticed something, the way the tales are written is not like a typical prose. There is a you can take one or two lines of it and kind of hum it out. So there is a poetic manner in which he has written that entire tale. So uh, intuitively the one who knows the power of the rhythm uses it very naturally. So that's what a poem and the creation called poetry is.
Vijay, also I noticed when we were listening, right? There were verses where like one complete line was one word. The like which when we were listening, like the singer was breaking it and singing, but in the written form, it is like long single word.
Yeah.
And I believe like Sanskrit has the longest single word as well.
It's not
Or
actually there is no longest single word in Sanskrit,
okay.
but in reality, like the numbers, you can create an infinitely long word in Sanskrit.
Sanskrit, okay.
Because
Okay.
Sanskrit is what is called as a generative language, meaning you can connect different root words to keep creating next new word. So it's a generative language. There are no defined words. Okay, these are the only, okay, this, for example, like a
Can you
Merriam.
show that actually? Yeah, the like.
So like a Merriam-Webster, right? Okay, there are today every,
Yeah. The, yeah,
which shloka
yeah,
particularly you are
yeah.
meaning?
Just can you keep going back? So this one, for example, like
Yeah,
complete.
yeah. Upashanta Jagadjiva Shishyacharyeeshwara Brahmam.
Uh,
So see, like that, you can keep
okay.
adding newer root words and pratyas and vibhaktis, and you can keep composing longer and longer and longer words. So that's the beauty of Sanskrit. It's a generative language.
The right word also has to come so that they can be connected also, right?
Yes, yes. So together there is a grander meaning.
Uh,
Parts also there is a grander meaning.
mm.
Very nice observation. Thank you, Ji. Hariom Satya Ji.
Hariom Vijayji.
We are contemplating on this sixth question. What does Kavi mean in this context? And I'm not sure at what point you joined. You may have heard some of the viewpoints from, and there were some beautiful poems that were recited by many here. You have anything to share, Ji?
No, Vijayji. I'll just listen and then say.
Do you recall any nice childhood poem from Telugu?
Hmm.
Anything that you would like to share with us?
I'll just think, Vijayji.
Sure, sure.
Right now, I can't remember
Yeah.
anything.
As soon as you are able to recall, do share it with us.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much. All right. Are there any questions or any other points to add on this sixth one? Okay. Then let us move on to our next question, which is, when anyone is born into ignorance. In the Prabhuji's talk, it comes up. And also in this Advaita Makaranda, there's a reference to no one really knows their birth and death. So like that, there is a statement. What do you infer from this? And what is the truth that you want to bring out through this phrase? Is the question now. You can elaborate on, when anyone is born into ignorance. What does it mean? How is it so? What is the truth that is that can be inferred from this phrase? Is the question now. Does anyone like to begin this contemplation?
So,
Padmajaji, yeah, you want to go, Sarvanji? Yeah, please.
no, sorry. I was just a little bit away from this.
We have moved on to the next question, Ji.
Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, when anyone is born into ignorance. Yeah. Satyaji, you want to start?
Yeah, Vijayji. Yeah. So, I mean, the very reason of birth itself is out of ignorance, because there are a lot of vasanas, samskaras, and which create a karma, because of which again a birth happens. And whenever there is birth, there is death also. So everyone obviously is born into. It is out of ignorance that anyone is born, and by the time they are born, they are ignorant of what is satya, what is nitya or anitya. All this viveka is not there unless there is a lot of previous learning that has happened, which is still left, that has to happen in this birth. Otherwise, human birth is definitely out of ignorance. That's what is my understanding, Vijayji. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So, can you then bring the distinction between a birth, which is birth of ignorance, to generally what we also hear as avatara? An avatara is not in ignorance. Can you bring the distinction between these two?
Yeah. Normally, a person born is out of ignorance because of the previous karma, the sanchita karma, and the prarabdha karma that, which brings us into this world. In case of an avatara, there is a higher purpose. There is a purpose of that human form. So that the avatara is totally, he is not ignorant. Definitely, it is an enlightened being taking the form of a human. So that is the distinction between a normal person, an ajnani, and definitely every ajnani's journey in that life is only towards enlightenment or mukti. So till that is achieved, the cycle of birth and death keeps on going.
So there seems to be birth and death even after realization.
In case of avatara, the purpose, even for an enlightened person, it is not that the moment the person is enlightened, the body drops. There is a higher purpose for which, suppose there is some story, there is an example of Buddha, or where they don't want to be enlightened until they enlighten all the people. So the purpose of each enlightened person or an avatar is very different. So when the whole purpose is to bring jnana into the ignorant minds, the ignorant people, or in that case, death will happen, but it does not literally mean that the birth has happened because of the previous karma. It is an avatar in the sense there is a purpose which is beyond the normal human conception.
Wonderful. So let's go deeper. Let's also listen to other viewpoints and then circle back. Thank you, Satyaji. Padmajaji, you want to share your viewpoint? Are you there, Padmajaji?
When anyone is born into ignorance is what is written, right?
Yeah.
So if I have to say, ignorance is avidya, and avidya is it's not just a kind of lack of knowledge, but it is something called misidentification, or not understanding the true nature of the reality. That becomes the avidya. And it is also, avidya is a separateness of the self and the ultimate reality. So in my opinion, So when we are born, I think until unless one has this a true knowledge from a guru or from anyone, we always have this concept of you know, ignorance. They are born into ignorance. That's my understanding.
Okay. And the same question that was raised to Satyaji, do you see any distinction between a so-called human birth and avatar? Is there a distinction that you see?
Question to me, you're asking
Yes, yeah, I'm asking you also. Yeah.
okay. Uh, do I find a distinction between avatar and a normal human being, ordinary person, is what you're saying?
Yes, see.
I think we will definitely know, because an avatar is born, you know, into, you know, I think even avatars also, they lead a life. Like if you see Ram avatar or Krishna avatar, they also have they also have all these things what human do with their, like if you see Krishna, the naughtiness and all these things are there. But these avatars have got some kind of, you know,
You are on mute, Padmajaji.
okay, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Yes. So if you see avatars and like a normal human being, they also go through this uh, stage where they are also like all of us normal human being, but we can make out because they are born for loka kalyana. And over a period of time, you'll easily see, you know, by the different acts, they are, you know, doing those things which are to raise the human consciousness, and you know, doing good to the loka is what is for avatar. That's the difference between
That's
otherwise a human being is born, it does whatever is need to be done and then dies. But these people, they have a purpose to live.
that's how you see it, Ji. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Padmajaji.
Thank you.
Who would like to share next? Deepaji, do you have an opinion?
Um, anyone is born in ignorance only, sir. Very few people will be like the avatars. Only the avatars, they are the one who is not in ignorance. It is only the enlightenment that has to take place when 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 one is out of ignorance, like Prabhuji. And such person will lead us towards enlightenment.
And in terms of post-enlightenment, if there is still the continuation, is that still birth or it is not birth?
There will be birth, but that is just to lead um, others towards enlightenment.
Wonderful. Anything more you would like to bring up?
No, sir.
Thank you, Ji. Kamala Ji, you have any viewpoint?
What I understand is, like when a child is born, it is naturally ignorant only. Through mother, the child is gets to know about father, and from father, guru. From guru, a child knows Bhagwan. So till that time, a child understands the true nature of itself. It is ignorant. So when the child is born, it is ignorant. But through Guru, it is getting enlightenment and understands its true nature.
So how do you connect to this part of the phrase, when anyone is born? How do you personally see this part of the phrase, when anyone is born into ignorance?
Yeah, it's born into ignorance means I don't see when, because even Rama, when he was a child only. Throughout, he doesn't know that he is an avatar of Mahavishnu. So, but through Guru, see, in each avatar also a Guru plays a pivotal role, right, Vijayji? So the question is, when anyone is born into ignorance. Yeah, so when a child, so being a child, it is ignorant only, that all this, see, when child is born, there are three kinds of child, always Prabhuji says, right? So one is this divine child, and societal child, and third one I forgot. So when the child is born, it is purely divine, but through some societal nature, it forgets its own nature and becomes through avidya, they start thinking that they are in the roles they play in the society is their true nature, like my name and form, my role as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, all these things is superimposed into the true nature of a child. So it is getting into that ignorance, and through Guru, it is getting that enlightenment and going understand its true nature.
The third child in that Prakriya ji is the physical body. So it's the
Physical
body, mind, and the true self.
Okay.
So three children. The first one is the child which seeks all the food and the nourishment. So all this, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, the societal child also gets his nourishment from society information.
Right.
Yeah. Wonderful. So your viewpoint is, then who is taking birth, Ji? Because in your expression you also mentioned even Rama had to be made aware of his avatar.
Vijayji, so born into ignorance. So Rama is not born out of ignorance because it's an avatara. So normal human beings, because of our karma pala and because we are not understanding our true nature, we are getting into the cycle of birth.
So the change in the phrase you would bring is born out of ignorance, is what you are saying.
Yeah, they are not born out of ignorance, but we are born out of ignorance.
So a avatara like Rama is not born out of ignorance.
Yeah.
But still is born into ignorance.
Yeah, because so that's how it is. Maybe they are. See, it is not depicted in such a way because as a child, they are ignorant only, and through Guru only they are getting that jnana.
Is how you see it. Okay. So
Yeah.
which means that avatara also, unless avatara is transformed by Guru, is still ignorant.
I'm not so. I'm not. Yeah, correct, Vijayji. But because, see, being Krishna, when he killed Putana, I don't know whether he was enlightened and he meant to kill Putana, but it happened because of grace. I could not understand how it has happened. But through Guru only a person can become a jnani. So why through avatara or through Puranas, a lay person can also understand how the journey will go, right? So I'm not sure about that part, Vijayji.
Wonderful. Let's touch upon it. Anything else you would like to bring up, Kamalaji?
Oh no, Vijayji.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Anupamaji, would you like to share your viewpoint?
Vijayji, when I say I am born, that is ignorance. The concept of birth and death is ignorance, because I is always there. I am the consciousness that is always there. So when it comes to birth and death, that is ignorance.
Very nice. So,
And it has nothing got to do with human form or any other form where that can come to anybody. The concept of birth is itself is not true. That can come to any kind of form. Once they understand it, the ignorance is gone. And until that jnana is not there, that is ignorance. We have example of Ramana Maharishi's Pashu, Lakshmi, and when we take our Lord Hanuman, he is not in human form. He himself is a symbol of saying, I am always there. That is there. This form may change, but I is there. He symbolizes that. So there is no birth and death concept there. When I say born, that is ignorance. That is why I think we may call him Chiranjeevi. So everybody, the Atman is same, which is Chiranjeevi. When I don't understand that, when I come to the concept of birth and death, that is ignorance. So born is, when I say I am born, that concept bring the ignorance.
very nice. So to be able to say I am born, I must be connecting myself with some form. So connection to that form and name is ignorance, is what you are saying.
Huh.
Anything more, Anupamaji?
Generally all why that ignorance is more means that a particular atma, the jivatma, has related itself to either body, mind, or intellect. That is why the avidya or ignorance is there. Once any jivatma starts to understand that I am neither, I am not this body, mind, or the intellect, they know that I am always there, and the ignorance will be removed, obviously through the grace of Guru and God.
Very nice. Excellent. Thank you very much, Anupamaji. Manasaji, is there something that you would like to add? Are you able to hear us?
Am I audible to you,
Yes, yes.
Vijayji?
Yeah. Now you're audible, Ji.
Yeah. So I'm in the same opinion what the previous people shared. So when the normal human beings born, they born out of ignorance. The impressions are in the seed form. As per the societal condition, the impression takes shapes as per the previous impression and as per the societal condition. But for the avatara, they born with a greater purpose. But I'm not quite sure, like when they are child, they also have this body concept or not. Yeah, that is my understanding.
Okay, wonderful. And how do you reconcile what you are saying with what Anupamaji said?
Uh,
What
she.
Anupamaji just now said is that that I am someone or somebody is ignorance. So when I get connected to some name and form, whether with body, mind, intellect, that is ignorance. And removal of that is the ignorance gone. So
Yeah,
this is how she saw it. What is your viewpoint about that versus what you just now narrated?
yeah, that is correct. But to understand that also you need jnana. So to get jnana, you have to understand you are in ignorance earlier. So I got her point, that is correct. But when the But for the question whether the someone is born or not, how the person would know when he is ignorant that all about this knowledge? For example, if a child borns, generally what happens in any family is like they give a name to the baby, they associate the name with its body. So obviously it will grow as thinking that it is the body, right? So this is what my understanding is.
Does
But when
everyone grow up like that? That is where the question is about. For the time being, we're using examples such as Avatar.
okay,
Is it a narration to help us understand that there is a distinction, or do you also subscribe to what Kamalaji said, which is from whatever the descriptions that are seen, it is seen as if until the Guru comes, even an avatar seems to be in ignorance.
it looks like the same to me because even the Vivekananda was the Avatara person. Until he met Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was in. It looks like from the narration that he wasn't enlightened. Somewhere, who else? Even the Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya was also a divine person, like Avatara Purusha. But until he come to certain stages, uh, it from the narration it looks like he associated himself with the body, and even in the first stages he prays to Kali, and later he get enlightened. This is what looks to me. Uh, yeah, it may be different for Krishna because yeah, it may be different for different avatars, but it is there. From the narration it looks like when the child borns like looks like the born out of ignorance, or it could be because of the societal condition also, because when the parents are ignorant, um, they associate the child with its body. So yeah, that is my understanding.
It is also said when Krishna was born, he was unlike other children. He was not at all crying. In some cases, it is used to indicate, oh, it's a Purna Avatara, so someone who is born enlightened. So does that sentence even make sense?
Yeah, I mentioned that it may be different for the Krishna Avatara because in Krishna Avatara, the many Leelas had performed even when he was a child. But for other avatars, I think what I mentioned applies a bit, but not for Krishna Avatara.
Okay, so there seems to be some kind of distinction even in
Exceptions,
Avatar.
yeah.
Exceptions. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And in summary, did I hear you that what Anupamaji narrated uh, uh, acceptable to you or not?
Yeah, it is acceptable to me, but only the thing is, I'm talking in a general terms. What happens to 99% of the child? This is what I'm mentioning.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ji.
Yeah, thanks, Vijayji.
Saravananji?
Yeah, Vijay. So, yeah, we are talking about two kinds of birth. One is a normal birth, which is like both the births. One is a normal birth, and another is the avatara, right? And both, I would say, are out of desire. While the normal one is the desire out of ignorance, which is like I'm not complete. And like I need this or I want this. That leads to a birth, right? And until that being realizes, the cycle continues, and finally uh, uh, getting one with the Paramatma. While the Avatara um, is not out of ignorance, rather like when I say Avatara, it is always the divine avatars, which is Rama and Krishna, right? And they are out of full um, uh, awareness, and they are never, those avatars are like never in ignorance at any point of time, and the only reason that avatar is taken is to establish dharma, as it said. And why should uh, why should Paramatma take avatar to establish dharma, as like they can do it without coming? But the reason is to give an example to the regular beings, the jivas, that it is not done in whichever way you are born, however you are born, you still will be able to move on if you follow the dharma, right? And eventually realize uh, the true nature, right? So to give those examples, and like to basically to teach uh, the real knowledge, and thereby establish dharma, that avatara is taken, right? So that's how I put it.
That's how you see it. Thank you very much, Sarvanji. So when you and I, from a very personal viewpoint, when you and I look at it, so for you, who is Rama? Who is Krishna? Who is Shankaracharya? Is someone that you've heard about or learnt about by some means, whatever may be the means, but it has come into your field of awareness through some means. So therefore, to verify whether Krishna was born fully aware or not is not the real question here, because that question can take us in many directions without necessarily having any basis to establish. What is important, what is really important, is what is my current association to who I think I am, who I think I am, who do you think you are, who are you, is the most important question here. Because the rest everything depends upon that. Depending upon who you think you are, the others would have a separate existence or not. As a simple example, there is a joke. They went to a buffalo and asked, "Do you know God?" And the buffalo said, "Yes, I know God." And they asked, "Can you describe a buffalo?" "Yes, God is a big buffalo. He is much taller than me, much wider than me, has taller horns and tail, so on and so forth." Now, this is a joke. Why is this a joke? You and I would, as humans, would laugh. Hey, no, no, no. God is Rama. God is Krishna. God is. Look at our pictures. So there is also a truth in this joke, which is anyone sees life in the way they think they are. So life appears in the way that you think life is. So wearing a yellow color glass, life appears yellow. Wearing a red color glass, life appears red. So in a similar way, what is your association? Are you the body? Then the description would be, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm 4 feet tall, whatever, that various descriptors that are associated with the body. Is that who you think you are? Or are you thinking of yourself as various other forms? Because body is a form, a particular form, right? So a human form is not a cow form, is not a dog form. So as long as I think I am this body, I get associated with my human form. So then I interact with the world with that notion. I am this human. I am this man. That's why, when I'm a man, I have a certain nature of behavior with a woman. When I'm a woman, I have a certain nature of behavior with a man. So all this is emerging because I'm strongly associated with being a man or a woman or that form of the body. Then there are other forms of the body which are more subtle, which are nothing but what you and I can call as mind. Because what is mind? Collection of various kinds of forms that you have collected. So as an example, what is your nationality? Who are you? From a nationality viewpoint, if I ask you, and if the answer is I am an Indian, where is Indian in the body? Where is Indian in the eyes or the nose? Or because this kind of eyes and nose and many things are seen in many parts of the other in the world also. A Mexican may have a similar skin tone. The eye structure may look like how a Bangladeshi's eye structure is. So like that, where is Indian then? Indian is a thought form, is a form of thought. Like that now, when you see, I'm very intelligent, I'm very dumb, I'm very good, I'm very bad, all these various kinds of forms are there in the mind. So as long as I'm connected with any of these forms, whether at the body level or at the mind level, I have that ignorance. What ignorance? That I am some name and form is the fundamental ignorance. I am whatever else that I say would be that expression of that ignorance. I am related to the body, related to the mind. Recognition that I am not that is coming out of that ignorance. So when am I born into this ignorance? Whenever you get associated. For example, go back to that day before your marriage day. Were you a husband or a wife the day before your marriage? You are not. But the day after the marriage, the day during that marriage day, you became a husband or a wife. So the husband or the wife was born when? On the day of the marriage. So go back to your graduation day. When you graduated from your college, your bachelor's degree. Before that day, were you a graduate? So the graduate was born on that day. As long as I have an association to being a graduate, being a husband or being a wife, being a father, being a mother, all various kinds of roles that you play in life are born at some time. As long as there is a association that you or I is one of those forms, it is ignorance. So that is the indication of when anyone is born. Who is born? All these roles are born. And how the roles are sustained? Roles are sustained because of ignorance. There's nothing wrong with the role. Nothing wrong with the role play. Role play is Leela. Role play is what Krishna Leela is about. He played the role of a lover, played the role of a friend, played the role of a student, played the role of a teacher, played the role of a charioteer, played the role of a statesman. Various roles, but it's a role play. It's a play of the role. Fully aware that there is a role that I am playing. For what purpose? Again, the purpose is described or ascribed by someone outside. Just because somebody asks Sadhguru, why are you doing what you are doing? There is a human who is asked a question and there is an answer that comes at the human level, which is for Loka Kalyana. And that is very, very beneficial for the human, because a human now is able to see that there is a way of living which is beyond my body, my money, my me and mine. Beyond me and mine, there is something else. So it points to a way of living which is somewhat different from the way of living that commonly observed, not necessarily examined. Though upon examination, you can see the same enlightened way of life in many other beings. A sun, a wind, a tree, a water. If you look at them also as some forms, they are living a very enlightened life. But that is not necessarily understood or seen in an ignorant mind. Meaning what? Ahankara Vimuda Atma. Who is an ignorant fellow? Ahankara Vimuda Atma. Aham Akara. Ahankara means not pride. Ahankara simply means Aham Akara. Who I think I am. The name and the form I ascribe to myself. Aham Akara. Ahankara Vimudha. So superimposed. Vimudhate is superimposition. On what? On Atma. Atma has no name and form. Atma is not any particular thing. It is nobody. You are nobody. When you take the position of I am somebody, that somebodyness is the taking birth. Realizing that I am nobody is coming out of that ignorance. As long as that somebodyness is there, there is a life, there is a birth, there is a death. But in reality, there is no birth, no death. Because it's all seen in the window, in the context of a window. If you are as a prekshaka looking at a drama, and in the drama stage, Ravana appears and Rama kills him, there is a death to Ravana. Why? Because you're only seeing as a prekshaka. What are you seeing? Only that window. Which window? What you call as the Rangamantapa, Rangamancha. But now imagine you are that friend who has access to the green room of that wherever the drama is being played. You go to the green room, and who was playing Ravana is now removing his makeup and is buddy with Rama. They're both laughing and saying, oh, how nice the drama was. So death was just a momentary misunderstanding of what really happened. Did it really happen? No, it did not really happen. Did it appear to happen? Yes, it appeared to happen. Is it true? It is not true. Because truth is established only when you have complete viewpoint. Otherwise, it is partial viewpoint. It's a relative viewpoint. As long as you are in front of the Rangamantapa as a prekshaka, it is true that he died. Therefore, you will make a claim. No, he died and he's going to be born again in the next show. So like that will be the viewpoint. But if you have the viewpoint of the Rangamantapa as well as the green room, you know that it is simply a appearance and disappearance. But the one who is actually appearing and disappearing is neither Ravana nor that friend. So like that, it's all a ahankara vimudha atma. Ahankara vimudha atma gets into an illusion that I am taking birth and I am dying. So removal of that happens because of clear understanding. The understanding of the Atma Jnana. Who are you? That is Atma Jnana. Atma Jnana alone can remove this fundamental ignorance. Any questions? Anything more to add? Yes, Saranji.
Yeah. So even the regular being, I guess, or like can
Where
say,
is that regular being, G?
being. Let me put it in being.
Whatever you ascribe is all a thought form in you.
Yeah.
The question boils down to you. When you discuss about Rama, Krishna, whoever, you are the one who's discussing. It's your understanding of who he is that you are discussing. Is it not? At the end of the day, each one discusses whatever they have collected about whoever they have collected about. So where
Yeah.
is the so-called regular being or normal being?
So being, in every being, there is
Where
still
is every being? Where is every being?
Um,
In you only.
the one who is thinking. Well,
Where is that thinker? Who is that thinker?
uh, uh,
As long as there is a thinker, there is a thinking. The thinker can come up with many thoughts. However, the pointer is to see the thinker and to become aware of who's seeing the thinker and to recognize that you are that who is seeing the thinker also. You are not the thinker.
Yeah. That's the ignorance. I'm the thinker is the ignorance. I am born, and once I realize that I am that unborn, then it just what is left is a show or a dream.
Not what is left. What has always been happening is a dream.
It's always been happening. Yeah.
That is also to express the truth to someone who's seeking an answer.
Yeah. Truly one understands this, then the world doesn't um, influence or disturb or affect in any way.
There is no world separate from you. That there is a world separate from me is the cause of all the pain and suffering. Because it leads to a thinker or someone who is created, and that thinker has projected world.
Yeah.
But continue to play the role. That is not the point of it. The point of it is recognize that this is what is happening. And in the recognition alone, there is freedom.
Yeah. Can a realized one not change the world, sees the world in a different way, right?
The question always boils down to who is asking all these questions. So they will always be concepts. Concepts can never end because a thinker will go on creating questions. So the pointer is to recognize the thinker and recognize that you are not the thinker. You are the light in whose presence the thinker has an so-called apparent existence. As long as there is an association to the thinker, that is ignorance.
The thinker is always there.
No, the thinker is not always there. Where is the software thinker 30 years back?
Or when the thinker is up, okay, the problem starts there.
When the thinker is up, recognize that, okay, right now I am in the software world. So software thinker, it's okay to bring the software thinker. Oh, I am in the daughter world, so it's okay to bring the father thinker. But the reality is, neither of them are having any independent existence. They are not true. For them to be true, they should always have been there.
Even, let's say, I realize this, and I still see a world.
This is not denial of the world. This is not denial of the show. This recognition is not at all denying that
It's not that the world
the
is
show is not happening. It actually is a recognition that, wow, this is how the show is happening. Mahadananda, Mahadascharya, great wonder.
We read, like, reading or listening to the Avatara Purushas, like how the life was, it looks like they were able to change the world, what they were born into.
You are constantly changing your world, G. You are also constantly changing. When you recognize that how energy flows, that as long as I think I am somebody, I have somebody kind of energy. Simple example, G. If let's say you put the aim that let me earn for making my life comfortable enough, roti kapdi roti kapda makan for myself, how much you may target to earn? Maybe say 100 rupees a day, maybe 500 rupees a day. But let's say the moment you start thinking, I have also wife, two children. How much I need to earn? Okay, so maybe say 1,000 rupees a day. Then you put a target. Let me also see whether I can earn for another 10 people. How much per day? It suddenly became 10,000 rupees per day. So like that, when a Modi consciousness works, it works for 140 crore Indians. So therefore, that 140 crore Indians ka consciousness functions through him, which means that what can I do for the betterment of this 140 crore people? In that very thinking, there is such a large expanse of energy that flows through him. Because energy is not a static phenomena. It is not a limited quota. It depends upon how much are you willing to let it flow through you. You still have to play a role. Through that role, how much are you willing to play? How much are you willing to expand? Are you going to get yourself constantly identified as I am only going to look after myself or only my so-called biological family? Or what is your consciousness? What is your recognition? So that is where the great seers have seen Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Look at that consciousness. It cares and functions for Vasudhaiva. Not just humans alone, Ji, not just Indians alone. It cares for the whole existence. So in that consciousness, how much more energy can flow? That's the reality of life. So as you choose, world appears to you.
That's why I was asking. So I can make it disappear as well.
Yes.
All problems gone.
And when you function, you can, that's the Mahadashcharya. See, when it is identified with the name and form, it seems to function in such a small way. When it is identified with everything else, it seems to function. So that is what you and I, when someone is recognized with their own form, calls such a person as, look at them, they are doing Loka Kalyana. What is the impact of the work that Modi ji is doing? What is the impact of the work that Prabhu ji is doing? What is the impact of the work that Amritanandamayi Amma is doing? Look at it, they've touched the lives of lakhs and lakhs of people. So these are all the expressions that others use. But you have that same choice, Ji. The choice is there for everyone and anyone. But how many of us are willing to exercise that, willing to let go of I am this and that to I am all? That is not just a matter of sentence, a statement. It is a deeper commitment, sankalpa, and walking. And as you walk, you'll know. The day you decided that I'm a father, you brought out the fatherness, fatherhood, whatever it means for you, what it means to you to play the role of a father. You brought out all those qualities. But you had to make that choice. Anything else? Anyone? All right. So then let us end our today's contemplation. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.